everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm going to talk about what my plans are for journaling or Bible journaling through the Lent season as we head into Easter. If you're not familiar with what Lent is, you can find some information online. I'll try to find some resources and link it down below for you. Last year was actually the first year that I observed Lent, and that's the 40 days leading up till Easter. I think of it kind of like Advent and a time just to prepare your heart going into Easter. And it's actually, as Brianna Showalter says here, she says the 40 days represents the time Jesus spent in the wilderness enduring the temptation of Satan and preparing to begin his ministry. So that's just kind of the idea behind Lent. Everybody has different traditions and what they like to do. And so I'm just going to kind of talk about my journaling plans for that time period. What I have here is the journaling kit from the Illustrated Faith Printables. This is Brianna Showalter's kit. And I have another video that's going along with today's video. I will link it down below, and it's showing how I took some of the pieces from the printable and made my own sheet of sizes and shapes and things using the Silhouette Studio program. And if you are new to this process, jump on over and check out that video for that. But so I have all these printed out, and before I jump in and talk about what my plan is, I wanted to kind of pep talk you guys. I know I've had a lot of people reaching out asking about, you know, how I manage my time or how I'm able to complete kits, you know, with so many kits that I show on here and different projects I'm working on. And so I just wanted to kind of encourage you guys. And first of all, my life's a little bit different than your guys's, most of you guys. I don't have little kids at home. I mean, my kids are 10, so they're at school all day. I don't work out from home. This is my job. So I'm not leaving from 8 to 5. So I do have a lot more time and that kind of thing. And so I also, if I didn't have YouTube and didn't have social media promoting things, I wouldn't be doing as many different projects as I'm doing, probably. I would pick one or two and stick with those. So I know that the market is flooded with all kinds of devotional kits and studies and printables and content and things like that. And that's wonderful and awesome that those resources are there. But don't feel like that you have to do all of it. That is not the point of it. So pick and choose what kind of speaks to you. I know a lot of people are still finishing up the goals kit from Illustrated Faith because that one did get out a little late in January, and now we're already into February and working on the This Is Love kit. Don't be afraid to set aside the This Is Love kit and finish up goals and then jump in. I know it's great to work through things together. I appreciate that we have that community and can do that, but if it's starting to feel pressured and feel stressful, that is not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to have a connection with God through your journaling. That's ultimately the important part. So just kind of remember that. I hope that that is an encouragement. I have a lot of unfinished kits in my office. But also sometimes don't be afraid to sit down and do 2 or 3 entries on a day where you have a lot more time. And so instead of spreading it out over 8 days for those Illustrated Faith kits, pare it down and maybe do, you know, a couple entries over the weekend and do it over the course of a couple weeks, and that might work better for you. So don't think that you have to do it how I'm doing it. And that leads into my decision for how I'm gonna do the Lent stuff. And so typically when Illustrated Faith releases their printables, I get on there and download like everything. I buy everything, download everything, and I have all of it. But this time around, I only picked the journaling kit, and then I also grabbed this one here from Brave Little Tailor, and that was it because I knew that's kind of what I wanted to use, and I didn't need a whole bunch of extra stuff. And so there is this journaling kit, and then there's also 2 sets of Lent cards as options. And so don't feel like you need to do all 3 things all at once. That's excessive. Maybe just pick what kind of speaks to you. So this journaling kit is kind of meant to be set up in a traveler's notebook insert. And so depending on how you print it and how you put it together, these could be your traveler's notebook pages. So you could actually take this and print it out on cardstock multiple times and then just build a book out of these insert page pieces. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I have some videos showing how to create your own traveler's notebook inserts. I will link that down below. If I forget, please remind me in the comments and I'll edit it, but I'll try to put a comment or a link down below showing how I make my own traveler's notebook inserts. But in the spirit of saving time and my craziness of my life right now, I'm gonna work in a pre-made insert. So I have this traveler's notebook cover that I got at Hobby Lobby when it was on sale. I've made them on my own in the past, but you don't even have to have a notebook cover. These traveler's notebooks, if you're familiar with the By the Well kits, that's kind of the size of their devotional kits, are like traveler's notebook inserts. So you can keep these all in this system like this. If you buy the cover from Hobby Lobby, it does come with this insert here, or at least one insert depending on which one you get. And then I got these two on sale at Hobby Lobby. So I'm gonna use one of these. I normally make my own inserts, but this girl doesn't have time. So I went ahead and just bought one. And so this is just a lined traveler's notebook insert. And so I'm gonna be using the pieces from Brianna's set in here. It doesn't match perfectly, but it kind of has the same feel. In the past, I've done traveler's notebooks and then not finished them. I have all these grand ideas for how I'm gonna do it and then I don't finish it. But I kind of have something different this year that I think is gonna work for me. So I went ahead and printed some things out on cardstock. Like this is just to read through, but I probably won't insert this into my notebook, but I could cut it down and insert it. And then these other pieces I printed on clear label paper. And so the way this kit works is she's got 20 words that describe Jesus is, and then 20 words that describe so I am. So if you look here, Jesus is Messiah, so I am saved. Jesus is hope, so I am confident. Jesus is mediator, so I am redeemed. And each one of these words has a verse reference. So you could potentially have 40 verses. There is no way I have time to Bible journal 40 entries. Some of you might have that. Some of you might be able to do that, but I will not be. And so I'm going to be cutting these apart and working in here. And what I am gonna do is I'm going to cut out these words and do Jesus is Messiah with the verse, and I'm gonna hand write out the verse, and then Jesus, or so I am saved, and then write out that verse, Acts 4:12. I'm going to use this as my daily scripture writing. All I'm going to do is write out the verses that are suggested for these prompts, and that's it. If something really speaks to me, then I'm going to jump over into my Bible and do some Bible journaling, but I am not going to be doing anything elaborate decorating or techniques or anything like that with this project, because I just know that I don't have the time. I have so many other projects going on. So I'm going to be using this as verse writing, and that alone is just going to give me some time to focus on that verse that talks about how Jesus is Messiah. And maybe I'll jump in and read some other verse referencing and commentaries and things like that and study that way. You could take these and then just write a prayer about that prompt, Jesus is Messiah, and then write a prayer, you know, thank you God for sending us Jesus as a Messiah and what that means, and maybe write out a prayer. That's something that you could do. And so then I'm going to keep this in my traveler's notebook and have that as a reminder. If I need a time to remember, if I'm not feeling very confident, then I can go flip through here, read those Jesus is hope, so I am confident, and read those and just kind of get myself back into a good headspace and use it for that. And so that's kind of my plan. And so I went through and printed the prompts and things on clear label paper. These pieces with the traveler's notebook inserts, I may cut them out and paste them in here for added decoration. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm gonna do that. We'll see as I put it together. And then this one here, actually meant to do something different, but that's okay. These were meant to be like the notebook inserts, but I'm gonna I printed this on clear label paper, and I'm only gonna cut out and use these pieces here. I'm not gonna use this as an insert piece because I'm not making my own journal. Now, if you have any experience with clear label paper, it's kind of a pain to write over. So when I cut this out to put in here, I'm gonna cut out around the flowers and not the whole piece, because this is very difficult to write over. And then you also have, if you want to do a title page, my intention for Lent, and then you have a tracker for the 40 days of Lent to keep track if you want to use that. You have a couple more insert pages there. Again, we're continuing with those words. And then what I did is I kind of pieced things together and picked out some more elements and made these sheets. Again, check out that video if you want to see how I did that. I have one showing how I do it in Photoshop and another one showing how I do it using Silhouette Studio. So you have those options. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and put this together, and then we'll jump back in and talk about how I put it together, and we'll finish it up. All right, so I don't know if you can tell by the lighting, but it is now evening. I totally underestimated the length of time it was gonna take to put together this notebook, but it is finished. And I just wanna give you a heads up, don't underestimate the amount of time it's gonna take to do this little project. And so I'll kind of show you what I did, and it seems really simple, but it did take a little while to put together. So I went ahead and just cut apart all the little pieces. I have my tracker in the front here, and then these are the pieces that I had resized to fit down into this notebook. Again, that video is linked down below. There's 2 separate ways you can do it, so I'll link both those below. And so I just went and I had originally thought that maybe I might like ink smush some watercolor or something in the background, add in some washi, but it already took quite a long time without doing that. So I just got out my alpha stickers from all different companies, all different colors, and thought this was a good opportunity to use up some of those alpha stickers. If you don't have a lot of alpha stickers, you could maybe like stamp out the phrase Jesus is and so I am, or handwrite it out, whatever, but I just needed to use up some alpha stickers. So I just went through and did Jesus is and then the word, so I am and then the word. I try to keep it 1 page for, you know, a Jesus and a so I am, and then cut out some of the pieces from the printable. Same thing over here. And then what I'll do is I'll take that verse that's suggested, and I'm just going to write out and copy the verse right here in this booklet. And so as I go through, you know, I cut down some of the notebook inserts and just pasted them in just to add that, added a little bit of washi tape where the edge was. And again, continuing, you can see I use different alphas from my stash. And I try to keep the decoration pretty minimal. That way I have plenty of room to write out the verses. Here right at the beginning I thought I'd add in some extra washi. I didn't do that throughout the rest because it was just took a long time. I cut down some of those pieces to make them like little washi strips. This one here, and this is one thing I did pay attention to, so some of the longer verses, so this is Psalm 23, all of Psalm 23, so I went ahead and left myself an extra page, that way I had plenty of room to write out all of Psalm 23 here. And then, you know, as you go through, a lot of the repeating stuff, and just by rotating things, switching which side it's on makes it look a little bit different. Sometimes I did all the same letter stickers, sometimes I mixed it up. Let's see, again here is inserting one of those page inserts and just going through and adding those in. So pretty consistent process, and that was to try to streamline it so it didn't take quite as long, but I would say it still took me a little over an hour to get this little booklet together. Some pages are pretty minimal, so here I just took that strip that's at the bottom of the front page, this one here, and I cut it in half and then just cut it down into little like washi strips. This is a piece that was meant to be on a page insert, and I just cut out the little floral and pasted it in. And this one here again is a pretty long verse, verses 23 through 31, so I left myself plenty of room to write those out. And then I also took, there was 2 sets of the Jesus is and so I am pieces in the printable, so I cut those out and use them. And then here's the very end. I had some extra room, so I took one of those big quote pieces and put it in there. So you can see I used just about all of this notebook. I didn't think I was going to use all that. So I'll go through and just copy out those verses. I like to say 1 each day, but it may be a couple a day depending on what my schedule is and what that looks like. And so that's going to be my Lent project for 2018. If you have any questions, be sure to leave those down below. Check out all the videos, links, and things that I have below the video, as well as over my blog. I should have a corresponding blog post showing how or kind of giving you some more pictures and links and things like that. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.